Thank you, Ali. Thank you all. I'm going to try and be a little bit more specific and not cover many of the points made earlier. I'm going to make this twofold. One, on the corporate level, what is available, and certainly green bonds is one of the options a company has. I will do a little case study here on the good company Odfjell, which is one of the, I would say, leading green shipping companies based in the Nordics, and who launched one of the first green bonds back in 2021. It's a bond that's maturing now very soon. It's a non-amortizing bond with an attractive coupon arranged by Nordic banks, approximately $100 million. You have to measure the decarbonization here, and in this case it's done by adapting what's called the average efficiency ratio as a key performance indicator. And this is a key element of measuring the decarbonization, so that bondholders can actually, it has to be measured by an outside council. In this case, it's a good company, DNV, in Oslo, who's doing it. And it's actually reviewing the performance of the whole Odfjell fleet of 50 chemical carriers. And it's in line with the company's stated targets for decarbonization, which I'll show you. The benefits here, of course, they were able to launch an unsecured bond, which is difficult. They didn't have to mortgage 50 vessels. They got a good coupon of 6.25%, and interest only, as I mentioned. And they got very, very good publicity, and this is obviously important for a publicly listed company. There are penalties if you don't comply with the decarbonization targets. You have coupon step up, as we call it, margin increase. I think in this case it's more than 10 basis points. I think it's 25 bips. And there's redemption penalty at the end if you haven't complied, or if not compliant at the end, effectively 1.5% penalty. And this is what it's all about. A company has to have a disciplined approach to decarbonization, set targets, measure it, and announce it. This way you attract finance. You can do your second bond issue much easier when you have done this and you have succeeded. So this bond is maturing now, and it will be substituted by a new green bond. Again, unsecured, non-amortizing, very attractive funds. And it's all based on the company's aggregate investments in decarbonizing, shall we say, anything from rotor sails to the paint on the hull, to installing, retrofitting in the engine room and so on. So it's an aggregate function of investments continually made over the years. Right, Ali, you wanted a business case. I'm now going more vessel related. So I wanted to show you the business case of investing in batteries. So this is a real case of 5,000 deadweight coastal vessel. All the emissions have been measured by Wärtsilä, in fact, who supplied the engine. But it's all been documented, and you have to put a cost to the emission savings here, and it is in Europe, tax per ton CO2. And this example is used 100 euros per ton. It's approximately where the market is. It has been down to 50. It's been up to 125. But if you look at the left-hand column, it's a conventional vessel. And you see the fuel consumption is based on a sailing pattern exclusively in Europe, and 30% of time in port. And then you take the green column, which is the hybrid vessel, with a 1,000 kilowatt battery installed for peak shaving, for shore power, and all these things. And you see the result of the savings. You have a 40% savings in fuel consumption and the corresponding cost saving. So the payback time for this investment of approximately $1 million is 2.5 years.
Wow.
It's a no-brainer of an investment decision. But it's a small vessel. You can't do this on VLCC, as Chris said. But I'm sure batteries will come more into force for bigger and bigger vessels. We see now.
It can be partial as well. It doesn't have to be, 100%. But that's
No, and this here is a hybrid solution. Sources of finance. Well, I have some names for you. And you don't have to be Norwegian to benefit from Norwegian subsidies, but you have to be domiciled in Norway. So if you want to tap into government subsidies, start a little branch in Oslo. I can help you with the application to Enova. In Holland, you have Pro Capital, dedicated green fund. They are quite strict on the conditions for obtaining green finance, but plenty of companies now have made use of it, mainly new building short sea vessels, ferries and so on. You have an institution in France called Euraseo. It's linked to Société Générale. They do sale-leaseback financing, and the condition is generally IMO 2030 targets. We talked about green bonds. Then we have something that's interesting, equipment finance. You have equipment lessors. You have dedicated equipment lessors for shipping. One is called Wavefront in the UK. And you have generally equipment lessors that will finance standalone these equipment. Some of them are part of the ship, some can be taken off, but you have dedicated equipment finance available for ships. And it's good to know. You have batteries. Enova in Norway will pay for most of the battery cost.